Hey guys, I'm back with another recording from my devotional reading, Whispers in the Ordinary. This is a book I wrote. It's a devotional, and I actually wrote it while I was going through a hard time during my divorce. I talked a little bit about it on my podcast yesterday. My podcast is on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple, and it's on the YouTube. It's called Unpolished with Crystal, and it was a little bit about me, so it gives you a little more detail. So here we are at day 2. Even now you're worth it. That is the title. That is the whisper that I put in the book. This book can be a workbook, or you can just read it and go along. Don't judge me for that, okay? Today's reading is Genesis 37 through 39, so that can be your reading today, 37 through 39. I'm going to give you a scripture. That is Genesis 39:21. But the Lord was with Joseph, and he showed him steadfast love, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. I distinctly remember writing this. I was going out to clean my duck's coop out. I was in the middle of a divorce. We hadn't even filed yet, but we were separated, and it was really tough, and I was just feeling all the emotions. All my social media accounts were down. That's at the time where that female had tried to blackmail me. I just didn't know where my life was going, what direction it was going. I didn't know what we were going to do about the house. I didn't know what we were going to do about the animals, but I spent a lot of quiet time by myself in those moments with God, and it was worth it. It was worth it. But I just remember going out there to the coop and hearing the Lord speak to me, and that's what I write right here, and I'm going to read this here to you and tell you about it also. This morning I was cleaning out the duck coop. It's not their permanent home, just a temporary space until the real one is finished in a couple weeks. Still, I wanted to make it clean, cozy, and comfortable for them. I was bent over in the dirt, hands covered in straw and pine shavings, when I felt that familiar whisper in my spirit. Even in the temporary, you still care. And I went out there to clean out the duck coop, and I remember crying. I was like, why am I even cleaning out this duck coop? I don't even know where I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where my animals are going to go. But I'm out here cleaning this up. Like, this is not their permanent home anymore. I thought it was going to be. This isn't even my permanent home anymore. And I just heard the Lord speak to me, in this moment, you still care. And he reminded me that on earth, it is also not our permanent home. You know, our permanent home is up there in heaven, but while we're on earth, he still wants us to live a fruitful and abundant life. And he reminded me of that when I was cleaning out that duck coop. And it made me think, how often do we find ourselves in places that feel like temporary holding zones, where you're just in a spot temporarily, you know? Places we don't love, places we didn't choose, or we wish we could fast forward through. You ever felt like that? You're like, this is not where I'm going. This is a rest area. This isn't where I want to be. This isn't the ultimate end goal, but we're still in that spot, you know? Maybe it's a job that drains us. We've all had one. A relationship that feels disconnected. We've all had that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a loving relationship. Sometimes it's a friendly relationship, you know. Maybe it's a season that looks like nothing we prayed for, you know. And I felt like that after my first marriage ended also, you know. And I feel like that now. Then I felt like that. We tell ourselves, when things get better, then I'll rest. I'll rest when things get better. I'll rest when I meet that goal. I'll rest when I get that degree. I'll rest when we get done with this counseling session. I'll rest when I get that promotion. I'll rest when I get this amount in my savings account. I'll rest when I pay off this bill. My son was calling me. I'm sorry. We tell ourselves when things get better, we'll rest. We do that all the time, you know. Then I'll show up. I'll feel worthy again. I'll feel better about myself when I lose 10 pounds. I'll feel better about myself after my lash appointment Friday. You know, and I'm guilty of this. I am so guilty of this. And for me, sometimes it feels like that time never comes. I think it's because we get into that feeling of wanting and needing more and unable to be happy in the moment, in the spot that we're in. And we just need more and more and more and more. And we always feel restless, or like we're not worthy to be happy where we are because it's not our permanent goal or destination. God doesn't want, he doesn't love us when we arrive. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't love us when we arrive at those goals or those expectations. So why do we wait to love ourselves when we arrive somewhere? You know? Why do we wait and want to feel good when we get to that spot? Why can't we love ourselves through it? Because he loves us through it, right? The coop reminded me of something sacred. Even when things aren't ideal, we still deserve comfort. Even though they still deserve comfort in that moment. Even though the situation I was going through was going to affect their home and where they were, they still deserve to be in a clean area, you know? And we still deserve beauty. We still deserve to be treated with care, right? It's not about perfection. It's about presence. And I say this all the time. God doesn't want us to be perfect. He doesn't expect us to be perfect. He just expects us to be present with him. You know? It's about being faithful right where we are. Even when it doesn't feel fair. I know a lot of times I in this moment I thought, Lord, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. I was beside him in this bed in this hospital when we didn't think he was going to make it. I sat here when this house flooded. I rebuilt this house with my hands, me and my daddy, when it flooded. Like, I don't feel like what I'm going through right now is very fair. I'm you know, I remember feeling all of those things. Joseph didn't belong in the pit. He didn't. Or the prison. But the Lord was with him during that through it all. And he's with us through it all. You know, Joseph kept showing up. That's what he did. Joseph kept showing up with excellence, with integrity, with trust. And I remember feeling in that moment, I want to be more like Joseph. I want to be more like Joseph. I want to show up like he did. I want to give myself permission to show up well, even when I'm not there yet. Because I didn't feel like I was there yet. In that moment, I had no idea where my life was going to go, what was going to happen. I had lost the majority of all of my income. I was like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do now? You know, I didn't know at that time that God would restore everything I lost. I did know that. I know he is a miracle worker, and I know things all go according to his plan. And I know that he said in Jeremiah 29:11, he created me in the womb. He knew me before I was born. But in that moment, I did not know he was going to restore so many things that I felt like I lost in that moment. I didn't know when it was all going to happen. But I know I needed to be more like Joseph in trust and show up. And be present, even though I didn't feel like life was perfect. Because I know God meets us in the messiest moments. He meets us right there. This is an actual picture that I took. These are my ducks out there. All the photos in here are my actual photography pictures. This is a picture of my ducks that I took that day after I cleaned out their coop. Eating their peas or whatever, you know. Joseph didn't belong in prison, but he still gave his best. I'm reading this from the book that I wrote. He stayed faithful and he made the most of where he was, even in a place that didn't reflect his purpose yet. That's the kind of faith that challenges me. You don't have to wait for your life to feel permanent or perfect before you treat yourself and others with care. Even in the in-between, you are worthy of comfort, love, and dignity. Don't settle. Don't even settle now. One of the reflection moments that I wrote in here, that if you have the book, you have the option to take down notes, jot, whatever. You can use it as a workbook. It says, are you postponing peace or joy until something better comes? What's one way you can show yourself love today, even if the situation feels temporary? Are you postponing peace or joy until something better comes? Are you? Because in the moment I felt like I couldn't feel no joy or no peace because I didn't until all the storm was over. When I still had so much to be thankful for in that moment. I still had my kids. I had my dad. I had my animals, my dogs. I had all those things that loved me so much. Even though I felt like I was losing so much. So here's a prayer that I wrote at the end. It says, Lord, help me to live life fully, even in my holding places. Teach me to see the value of today and to trust you with what's coming next. Those are those moments. I'm trying to think if I'm postponing peace or joy until something better comes. I felt a little... I do feel like that sometimes now, but I catch myself when I feel it now. And I have to go back and I have to really count my blessings and say out loud, what am I thankful for? What am I thankful for today? And it's the simple things. Sometimes I'm like, Lord, thank you. It's the simple things like just basic, everyday, simple things that I say that, like, I got in the shower this morning. Lord, thank you for the hot water. I went to brush my teeth. We were out of toothpaste. And then I remembered I had some. Lord, thank you for this new bottle of toothpaste. And I know it may sound like, really? But no, those are all things we should be thankful and grateful for because they are blessings to us, because there are so many people out there that do not have those things. There are so many people out there that feel like I can't be comfortable until I have hot water. And then here we are taking it for granted. You know what I'm saying? So I just keep those things in my mind, and anything, something, I just look for reasons sometimes to say, Lord, thank you. Anything. The smallest things. It keeps me on balance. It keeps me grateful. It keeps me thankful. It keeps that negative from drowning in. I feel like when I'm constantly saying, Lord, thank you, and I'm constantly praising him for all of the blessings that I do have, that is a sword that defeats the enemy from creeping into my brain, telling me I'm not good enough, telling me I'm not worthy enough, telling me I don't have what I need to have, because I'm constantly thanking the Lord and giving him praise because he has went above and beyond to bless me where I am now. So that is day 2. I hope that helps you some. We will come back tomorrow with day 3. You can listen to this without the book. You don't have to have the book. If you do want the book, it's on Amazon. Whispers in the Ordinary. This is volume 1. I do have 2 more volumes coming out. I have some signed copies I will list on my website tomorrow for sale. There are extra copies left over from a meet and greet, but it's on Amazon. I think it's like $16-17. You don't have to have it that's fine. My podcast, if you didn't listen to it, explains more in detail about some of the things I've been in my life and how my journey with the Lord has not always been easy. And I've linked it all on my Book of Faces. You should be able to find anything. Or you can comment here and I can direct you where to go. It doesn't cost anything to listen to my podcast. It's free. So I love you. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, bye.